Hello, precious, patient poetry peeps. I have returned. Filet mignon here with medium rare poetry. Now, I know I've had an extended absence, but my wife gave me a note to explain why this happened. I shall read it for you. Dear Mr. YouTube, Philip won't be attending to his audience until he has completed several major gardening projects around our lovely home. When all is achieved to the best of all expectations, I will unlock his studio to recommence whatever it is that he does in there. Yours sincerely, Filet Mignon. So there you go. We have been incredibly busy around the house, and of course, as I mentioned before we went away, we had a 3-week caravanning trip to an undisclosed location. Anyway, so when we came back, heaps of gardening, took 700 kilograms of prunings and trimmings to the tip, along with every week our wheelie bin was chock-a-block of stuff. But anyway, that's all by the by. I'm back now, and I'm so glad you're here. And if you're new to the channel, welcome. We here at Medium Rare Poetry present poems that just reflect everyday life. And today is no exception, because you may be aware that Donald Trump, the 45th President of the United States, better known as the former guy, is facing his first criminal trial in Manhattan, New York. And the reports coming out is that he's not really behaving in an ex-presidential manner, whatever that might be, because he keeps falling asleep and he's breaking wind with monotonous regularity. And the poor soul doesn't have any family there to support him, so he's all alone and bored and cranky, and so one would have to write a poem about that. So today I present to you Fuming Justice. Fuming Justice by Filet Mignon. And so the trial of Donald Trump commenced one April day, with Judge Mushan presiding, prepared for come what may. Defendant Trump was seething, his face devoid of joy. With 34 indictments, was a very naughty boy. He'd plastered untruth social with cruel language, most unkempt. Before the trial started, he was verging on contempt. They had to pick a jury to sit as Donald's peers. He thought that he was peerless, so he just sat there and sneered. Day one was slow and boring for the corpulent accused. Attention span was waning, so the Don began to snooze. His lawyers tried to wake him, though his dreams were far too deep. His drooping jowls were drooling, loudly snoring in his sleep. The judge then banged his gavel with a force to wake the dead. Don's bloodshot eyes burst open, and then upright snapped his head. His legal team were thankful that no cameras were allowed, though wakeful correspondents were embedded in the crowd. The headlines were tremendous. No longer Sleepy Joe, replaced by Dozy Donald, the star of this great show. Well, 45 was merely just a flabby senior cit. His life force was declining, albeit bit by bit. The jury was selected, and yes, Donald stayed awake. A healthy dose of uppers was all that did take. The trial was off and running, everybody took their place, the defendant spewing livid with a scowl upon his face. For years 'twas documented of the former's shocking diet, a flood of fast food fancies. More fat, he had to try it. To most, this is quite lethal, an early grave detain us. But 45's sole symptom was an overactive anus. His guts were percolating as his misdeeds were exposed, resulting in some venting most offensive to the nose. At first the vile aroma was confined round his defence, with beads of sweat appearing as the atmosphere grew dense. Like mustard gas, Don's fumes appeared much heavier than air. It spread like fetid swamp gas from beneath his courtroom chair. The judge observed the carpet was commencing to change hue, when all at once the gallery in one voice exclaimed, "Oh, pew!" It had been speculated why his family weren't inspired to sit behind his table. Well, they knew he would backfire. His diaper not intended to perform filtration tasks. There's not been one invented as an Agent Orange mask. The courtroom aspidistra, planted in the finest silt, turned sickly shades of olive, and its foliage deigned to wilt. The windows were designed to add some cheery New York light, but now they frosted over from the cloud of acid blight. The prosecutor's ties were curling into wrinkled knots. The jury members' eyes turned into psychedelic dots. Offender Trump sat stoic. He believed he was the force. His confident aurora came from Big Mac's special sauce. The verdict call was guilty on all charges. Ring the bells. The bailiffs, wearing gas masks, shoved him down to meet the cells. The trial went down in history as the fastest ever proved. The courthouse was demolished and all the chambers moved. The Don's incarceration was a difficult affair. Guantanamo, the furthest place to store infected air. So home detention grew to be the suitable outcome, inflicting on his family the disgrace of this great bum.
What a sad, sad tale. And just recently, his contempt hearing was heard and adjudicated on, and he has to pay $9,000 for all the naughty things he said on Untruth Social about the judge, about the jurors, about anybody. So next time, the judge has warned him, it'll be jail for you, mate. So things aren't looking great for Donald. But anyway, that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, share and subscribe and ring the notification bell so that if I do have another absence, you'll get told by YouTube when I have returned. Thanks again. Have a wonderful day and bye-bye for now.